Hey everyone, sorry I was hoping to get this up yesterday, but sometimes a full-time job gets in the way. So I apologize for that. But just to go over last week and then this week briefly, obviously we have quite a short week this week. But last week we talked about long-term care, and health policy in conjunction with that. So we had this article here. Hopefully you took the time to read through it, take a look at it. I think that. Kind of the point of this article is that long-term care is really an area that has been somewhat ignored from a policy standpoint. And I touched on that a little bit in last week's Ed Puzzle, so I won't belabor the point. But just keep in mind moving forward, depending on what area it is that you're interested in moving into once you're done with the program, or even if you're going to continue on and want to maybe go to a master's program where you can become a long-term care executive or something of that nature. It's interesting that long-term care is the only area of healthcare administration that requires a license in most states. Nursing home administrators do have to be licensed, and it requires a master's degree with some extra additional work associated so that you can meet the requirements of the licensure. Yet we find, on a daily basis, all you have to do is look through various newspapers and, news articles and videos online where some of the worst care that we're providing to people is being provided in long-term care. And as I think I mentioned last week, some of you were actually doing your projects on that, that is a problem. So I think part of the issue is that for a long time, like when I was in healthcare administration school back when I did my bachelor's and my master's, it was all about hospitals. Like we didn't even talk about long-term care. I knew what it was because I was working in compliance at the time when I was, in my master's program. I was a compliance officer, and we owned a long-term care facility as well as a hospital, and 750 physician practice, and so we were a large facility, but we were state run, so it was a little different than your average long-term care facility. So even the pieces that I took away from that experience aren't as applicable as they are in a privately owned for-profit nursing home, which we have a lot of those around the country, and then also not-for-profits. Like for those of you that are in the Pittsburgh area, which I think a lot of you are, like the Concordia Lutheran homes. They keep growing. There's more. And I don't know if they're necessarily building a ton of new places, but they are buying other places that are struggling around the area, and hopefully working to improve care that is being provided in those areas. So interesting, just an interesting thing that it's an area where I think administrators in the past have kind of ignored, or just haven't looked at folks that are going through MHA programs and bachelor's in health administration programs, and now because we do cover a much more broad focus of topics in these types of programs, more students are getting interested in them, and therefore, hopefully, you'll be able to come out. You'll be, a well-trained leader and being able to focus on some of this moving forward with policy. And remember that policy isn't just for folks that work in the government. I mean, the folks that work for the government agencies or folks that are in elected positions don't have any expertise in these areas. So they look to us. They look to the professionals that work and are in learning mode for these areas, that are in work mode for these areas, to provide them insight as to what should happen. So let's say you're working in long-term care, and you see some of the issues related to quality or access or whatever it might be. And when you see that your legislators are working to make change in those areas, make your voice heard to them, write them letters, attend town hall meetings, make sure that they know what's really going on. Most of them don't set foot in those facilities. So make sure they know what's really going on, and then they'll be able to make good decisions on policy moving forward for long-term care. Okay, so I'm looking forward to taking a peek at your um, your what am I trying to think of? Your final projects for the week. I'm looking forward to seeing what's going on there and hopefully getting some insight into your projects. But please keep in mind too that in lieu of the live session that we were to have this week, unfortunately, there was one night when I think five of us or six of us could get together, and then every other night, when two people here, one person here every other time, two people here, three people there, there just wasn't even two solid times where I could get the majority of the class in. So I decided to simply go forward um, and have the final project presentations on Flipgrid. I shortened it up a little bit so you'll have up to 5 minutes in Flipgrid to post it, but you can do as low as two. That's fine as well. And just tell us about your final project topic and what your policy proposal was, etc. In the Flipgrid program. I think all of you have been in class with me in the past, so you've used Flipgrid, but if you haven't used it or you have any problems, let me know. You do have to register for that with your RMU email address. So if you don't have an account, you'll need to use the RMU email address in order to register there. And then we have just a discussion for this week. We have a quiz and then obviously this ed puzzle. So that's our work for this week. Remember, it ends on Friday. So make sure that you get everything done by the end of the day on Friday. If anyone has any issues or problems, let me know. But we do have to submit grades on Monday. So I want to make sure I can get through everybody's presentations and whatnot and make comments and grade everything up to date. All the grading right now should be up to date, save for week 7, I believe. That obviously I haven't graded yet. So I think we're in decent shape. There may be a 1 week 6 thing still outstanding, but finally had a little bit of time last week to catch up, and then my employer whammed me with a ton of stuff yesterday. So we will. We'll be done at the end of this week, but if you have any questions or issues with the presentation or any of the material from the term, if you have questions, want to review, please let me know. And otherwise, it's been a great 8 weeks. It's been a whirlwind 8 weeks. It's gone very quickly. Just happens to be a busy time for I teach medical compliance, healthcare coding now full time as a living for a living, and that's it's a busy time at the end of the year for those types of things with code updates and whatnot. So it's been a little crazy, but so I do apologize for the delay in some instances of getting things graded for you. But I think most of you are familiar enough with my grading policies and whatnot that I think everything's been okay. We haven't had any issues this term. But if there are any questions, let me know. If anyone had work that it seems like there were a couple, 1 week that had. Had a technical issue or something with one of our assignments. If anyone sees that they haven't gotten a grade on a past assignment, let me know, and I'll go in. Sometimes I grade it and then I don't reset the 0 that has been applied when it wasn't submitted on time. So just let me know and I'll get that fixed for you. So that's it. Thanks again. Everyone have a great holiday. Stay safe, stay vigilant. This Omicron stuff is no joke. So make sure that you're staying safe and healthy. Make sure you've gotten your vaccines if you're able to, and hopefully everyone has a safe and healthy, happy holiday season and a new year. And hopefully I'll see you all next year sometime. Thanks.